Morning, good morning. It is morning for me. It could be any time for you. I think most people who are joining live will see this morning. And it's a pleasure to be here today. Absolute pleasure. I just checked the sound and I've checked the vision, and everything seems to be tickety boo and, as we call, excellent. Those who know, but we won't refer to it again. Because what we're talking about here is listening to your body because it's got something important to tell you. Why do I talk about that? Well, I did a poll recently. I love doing polls. I haven't done polls forever. And then about 14, 15 weeks ago, started doing a poll on LinkedIn. And it's lovely to hear the thoughts and contributions from all those that take time to tick a box and then leave a comment as well. And the last poll was about those physical signs of stress. Now, let me get stress sorted a little bit for you. We all experience stress. There's no getting away from it. You cannot not experience stress. That's correct. Yeah, it's a bit early. I have been caffeinated, but it makes no difference. So we all experience signs of stress. We all experience stress. The stress comes into our life, and it's the way we survive, frankly. It's that you get stressed if someone speeds up against you and you're trying to cross the road and there's a car that comes up. Well, you are in danger. The stress response is to get you out of that danger, to clock it, to see it, to move very quickly, diverting all your energy to the muscles that are going to get you out of that way. Stress comes in all shapes and forms, and our response to it is largely the same. Our response to it is even there if we imagine stress. Can you believe it? Oh, good morning, Megan. Good morning, Laura. Glad to hear you. Yes, and being caffeinated. Well, there are times, and this is one of them. Um, Although bizarrely, I did listen to a podcast yesterday about coffee and the bean, and it's healthy. 3 or 4 cups. Now, not these chunky great mugs I drink, but 3 or 4 shots, espresso-y type shots a day is A, healthy, and B, adds to your dietary fiber. Who knew this would be? I didn't know that. Uh, Many health benefits, but don't overdo it. Like most things in life, moderation is key. So, stress. Let me get back to stress. Uh, because coffee can do the same thing, can increase your heart rate. When you talk about listen to your body, because the body's got something important to tell you, it has. It has a load of information inside it which we largely ignore because, for the most part, it doesn't affect our survival. We're sat most of the time at a desk or an office or on a tram or a train or a plane, eating whatever. We're sat. We're sedentary most of the time. We're charging around um, in all sorts of directions, and then we sit. And that movement's good, but the sitting isn't. So when we're experiencing stress and we're sat, we can even imagine. It doesn't even have to be real and outside, whatever outside real is, but we can even imagine in the space between our ears a scenario where we were stressed and we did experience that response, or even one that we can make up and we would feel all the same symptoms. Now, at the time, we probably didn't take any notice of it or brushed it aside. And if you're one of these people that brush it aside, start paying notice. If you're one of these people who don't recognize signs and symptoms, please start paying attention because wonderful book, and I think it's by Louise Hay, is it? The Body Keeps a Score. I might be wrong, but the title's great. The Body Keeps a Score. Great book, which really highlights the fact that your body hangs on to stuff. Your mind might let it go, or you think it does, but running there in the background in the subconscious is still pedaling away, and it affects your behavior. And that's the route to not being at your best every day. It's not. It's the route to sort of um, you getting in the way of yourself. A lot of that stuff is coming through subconsciously. So let's have a look at some individual components of physical stress. There are other elements in life that create stress for us, like work stress, relationship stress, financial stress, and we will come on to those in due course. This could be a series, who knows? But the top one on physical stress, and when I did my poll on Monday, it came to be that the top indicator, how do I know I'm stressed? My body's telling me is, excuse me, sleep, lack of sleep. Um, for a few years now, I've been monitoring my sleep, and I know there are things, and I've just even flipped on LinkedIn before I came on here and saw someone commenting on alcohol consumption. In fact, it was you, Laura. Um, getting alcohol can be used, binge drinking. It was about binge drinking. And that alcohol can truly disturb your sleep. A lot of people come in from work stress, another topic, another day, and they're a bit stressed out and they want to unwind. They want to relax down. And so many people reach for a drink. Now, n- nothing wrong with the drink, but watch what it does to your body. Maybe there is something wrong with the drink. Depends when you have it. I find if I have gin and tonic at 6, latest 7, and have nothing more, then my body sort of sorted it all out. And when I can go to sleep, it's fairly good. If I have no alcohol, my sleep's great. And last night, of course, it's a school night. We don't drink during the week. And I had great sleep. But by the way, if anyone's listening to this and they're a sleep expert, something happens in my sleep pattern at 5 o'clock in the morning. And it's not me waking up, but my sleep monitor, the app that I use, shows a spike at 5 o'clock in the morning every morning, and it's only started recently, and I've no idea what's causing it. I know earlier in the night your liver kicks in and does all sorts of stuff, so you can see a fluctuation, maybe 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, and that's the bit that disturbs you enough to wake you up if you're stressed. So normally we sleep through that. But if we're stressed, we mull over the thoughts, we keep them with us, we don't let them out before we go to sleep, and then we have a disturbed night's sleep. And for many people, the signal that they are stressed is that their sleep is being disturbed. Now, the downside of this, Bessel van der Kolk. Oh, I didn't know that. Thank you. Um, and I thought I had a copy of the book. Uh, the for many people, when we wake up during the night, if we don't get a good sound solid sleep, we wake up tired, we're not refreshed, we don't have that fulfilled feeling, and so we go to work and we do um, do not do our best. We can't do because our thinking's interrupted. We're sluggish, foggy thoughts and that sort of thing. So the pattern, and I have seen this, is that people then go, well, I'm tired, so I'll help myself get to sleep with a drink, which isn't to. It's not going to send you to sleep. It kind of anesthetizes you. It sedates you into sleep, and that's not good quality sleep at all. It fools you into thinking you can sleep because guess what? Too much alcohol, you pass out. That's sedation. That's not sleep. And you then wake up groggy headed the next day. You have not had a full night, good night's sleep. And if you monitor your sleep with a smartwatch or anything else that goes on, you can monitor, you will see that you don't even get into deep sleep when you're alcohol intoxicated or sedated, whatever you want to call it. Sleep, massive indicator that you're stressed. So there's something out there that's stressing you and it's waking you up. Now, there are some tips around getting out of that. And one of the things I advocate and do is journaling. So you can do it in any ways, shape, or form. But it's always, I think it's great to get stuff. If you've got stuff going on in your head and you're lying there thinking about it, write it down, get it out of your head. And the more you can actually hold a pen and put it onto paper and write it down, that neurological link goes to the paper. You know you've written it down, you know you've captured it. You can say to your subconscious mind, I can deal with that in the morning. And it helps get it out of your head and quieten the mind. There are other tips and techniques as well. I'll come on to those a little later, just checking time. Uh, but other signs that you are stressed is that you can't speak properly, or that your body's got aches and pains. This was one of the options in the poll as well. So generally, people have a tension across the shoulders. Now, there's several reasons for that. One is sitting and looking down. One is phone in hand, looking down, and the muscle tension there gets a bit tight, and and then there's the stress goes to the neck and the shoulders and down the back. So backache is a indication that you're actually quite stressed. Um, Sometimes joint pains as well. Joint pains. A little bit of a disclosure here. Um, there was a time when my mother was a bit younger. She would come over and stay with us for 2 weeks, and that's a long time. I mean, some mothers are gorgeous, and you want them to be, but it was a long time. It's a long time for everybody, and my left knee would get really, really painful, and I kind of it doesn't get painful anymore because she can't come over. But it did kind of coincide with her visits, and I wondered whether or not my knee was telling me that I was stressed about my mother coming over, which, to be fair, I think I was, and sorted out the stress and worked through it and understood what was going on, and the pain's gone away. So stress can tell you things as well. Another stressor indicator, if you're stressed, is indigestion, heartburn, or stomach upset. When we are stressed, or even in survival mode, survival is a stress state. Um, we have too much cortisol flooding through our system, and cortisol disrupts things, increases the heart rate, does all sorts of other bits and pieces, but takes away attention from other systems in the body, and it affects all sorts of systems. It affects your cardiology, so heart rate goes up, so does your blood pressure. That's another indicator your body is telling you. If you're measuring your blood pressure, if it's elevated, weird thing about blood pressure is that when it's elevated, we don't feel bad. Um, a lot of people can go to the doctor and they get the old sphygmomanometer on, and up comes the blood pressure, and the GP goes, "Oh, a bit elevated there. We might have to put you on something." You say, "Oh, really? I don't feel anything." Well, we don't. It's a bizarre thing in the body that your blood pressure can go up a bit and be elevated a bit, and yet we don't really have any physical things apart from high heart rate or a flushing of the face or whatever to let us know that our blood pressure is up. It's not healthy to be up, and there are various reasons why it's up. So, high heart rate is and rapid heartbeats are indicated that you're experiencing stress. Your body is telling you. Pop, 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 pop. Now, sometimes you can feel it, sometimes you can't. If you're wearing a smartwatch, no doubt you're checking. But a rapid heart rate for you, that is, my heart rate's slower than my wife's heart rate. That's just the way it is. We know that her heart rate is roughly this, and we know when it's elevated. We also know that elevation happens when we go for long walks and that sort of thing. Muscle tension is another one, and that includes headaches and migraines. Any headache sufferers out there, you may be asking yourself, why have I got another headache? Now, all sorts of reasons for a headache, from the terrible to just not being hydrated enough. So check other things first, but maybe even in that space of, I think I need a glass of water, you can sit down for 5 minutes and just switch off a bit and allow your stress levels to drop a little bit while you're having a nice glass of water, being rehydrated. It'll do you the power of good in so many ways. Um, then there's migraines. There was somebody on the poll on Monday who said that they're a migraine sufferer and it happens when they are stressed. Migraines are strange things and not to be messed with. And I know people get knocked out for days sometimes when it's really, really bad. Massive pain, need a dark room, need peace and quiet. Hmm. Is that switching off from stress, perhaps, and just bringing the system back down? Curious one. That lots of people also say that certain things trigger their migraine, like chocolate or oranges or a certain perfume. And again, maybe there's an olfactory anchor there in a situation, and the external environment at that time is one that stresses them out and triggers the migraine, gets them away from that place that's giving them the migraine. Big topic of discussion. Another physical symptom of stress that your body is telling you you're stressed is fatigue. Slightly different from waking up tired, but tired all the time. And if you're sick and tired of being tired, sick and tired, then maybe there's time to do something about it. So fatigue is like, oh, all the time. And I know if I've had a disturbed night's sleep, I'm really tired the next day, and it could even benefit from having a 20-minute nap at some point. I had a guy. This is weird. I was doing some training, leadership training at a big pharmaceutical company, and this we I was with this group of 12 people um, for 2 days and 3 lots of 2 days. And there was this one guy who just disappeared after lunch and came in late. And it took about 4 days. We were about 4 days in. So the whole of the first 2 days together, nothing was said. The first day of the second 2 days, nothing was said. And then I caught him on the fourth day. He was having a nap. Now, I did notice, couldn't help but notice as a facilitator, that he was somewhat drowsy after lunch. Eyes were closing, head was dropping, all this sort of thing. And he explained that he just needed a nap and his body knew exactly how long he needed. And he would just go somewhere quiet, shut his eyes, fall asleep. 17 minutes was his time. He did start to, when he started this, he put an alarm on his watch and or calculator phone to wake him up in time, and realized that 30 minutes was too long and 17 minutes is what his body decided was what he needed. And to a fault, he would wake up 17 minutes later refreshed. Maybe that's something that's going to help you to be at your very best every day without burning out. But there are some tips there on well, not some tips, some exposure there on physical symptoms of stress. There may be others. Have you got something else that that really triggers you, or you recognize from your body that you're stressed? Then that would be really nice to hear about. Maybe come in and be part of that conversation. But for the sleep, for the sleep is just so vital. Ladies and gentlemen, sleep is the most important thing. It's the one that gives you the best well-being, not only tomorrow, but for the future. Ignoring these signs of physical symptoms of stress, the body telling you something, just compounds the problem and unfortunately leads to chronic symptoms. Stress has it, a little bit of stress, like, get out of the building, it's falling down. That's that's good. A long bit of stress, we can tolerate it now and then, but keep that going, and you're doing your internal self a lot of harm. There's a lot of inflammation going on in the system, and when blood vessels get inflamed, all sorts of responses come back to that, and you end up with atherosclerotic plaques in your artery, which leads to a higher blood pressure, which could lead to, I don't know, all sorts of cardio problems from having a stent to uh, artery bypass operations. It happens. Um, if you ignore your digestive system doing what it's doing, then something's out of kilter there. Actually, with the digestion system, there's a two-pronged attack on that. For your own well-being is one, see someone who knows about stress and how to identify the source of stress and then get you through into a better place so you can handle it in the future and build your resilience. I could recommend someone. Or and sorry, not and diet. Go and see someone who knows about diet and gut health and can sort you out. You probably are um, not tolerating some foods very well, or even, I'm not going to say allergic, that's a different response, but your tolerance level to some foods. And gluten would be the obvious one, but maybe it's not gluten, maybe it's the pesticide that's being used on the bread or something. I don't know. All sorts of things happening in diets these days that are disturbing our gut health, and gut health is just as important as mental health. Getting the balance right, really, really important. To see someone who can help you there. Even though someone who another physical symptom is breakouts on your skin, excuse me, or eczema. Eczema in adults can be triggered by stress or an intolerance to food as well at the same time. Hair loss, all sorts of things. Your body is telling you something. If it's different today than it was yesterday, find out why. Figure it out. The signs are there. If you're looking for a sign, just look in the mirror. And the signs are all there, and it's up to you to be self-aware enough about picking it up, and b I'm not going to say brave enough, but have the respect for yourself to go and sort it out. Now, on the sleep one, because I keep harping on about sleep, it is vital. It is without sleep, we kind of we're nothing. Um, and the breathing exercise I went through last week, somebody told me that it happened to land for them at the right time, which is great. However, the breathing exercise is not a one and done, and like stress, it's a compound effect. In fact, the more you do it, the less chance cortisol has to peak, and your stress response you can remain calmly alert. It's a very weird state. It's a bit like being in the Matrix. You can see what's going on, and everything's going really fast, and you just put your hand up and push it away. But you're very alert, but you're very calm inside, so you don't lose it. You haven't got that red mist coming in. And you can use the same breathing technique for your sleep. People who use this fall asleep. Now, and the other thing is, people often say, I can fall asleep, I wake up. And when I wake up, I can't go back. So, again, I'll go through the breathing technique because it's pretty cool and you can do it here and now. We've got a few minutes, and it will set you up for the day, and it will clear your head so you can truly focus on the rest of the day whenever you're seeing this, or if you're seeing this at night, hey, bingo, you can go to sleep, and then feel refreshed. And it's a fundamental bit of clear your head to get ahead. So clearing your head. You've got lots of stuff going on in your mind at the moment. And if have woken up at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, no doubt you start to think about something. Um, the times I have done it, bizarrely, I've got some sort of earworm tune going on in my head. It drives me mad. And then you've got to turn the radio off, metaphorically, in the imagination. So the breathing technique, again, remember, if you're driving or you need your eyes for where you are for safety, please don't do this because it's a closed eye process. Um, so just listen. But you can still do the breathing technique if you're driving because, hey, a calm driver is a safe driver. So we also like to focus on something or somewhere that you have some gratitude for. So get a memory coming to you about someone that you're really grateful for being around, or have helped you in some way, or you appreciate their presence, um, uh, or that you care for someone somewhere, or that there's something in your life, something that brings you a little bit of joy, happiness, and that sort of thing. So the breathing, then we focus in the area of our heart, and if you're going to do this, do it now. Focus in the area of your heart and imagine your breath is flowing in and out of your heart or chest area as you breathe down into your belly a little bit slower and a little bit deeper and nice and smoothly than you usually do. So, nice, smooth, slow down breathing in through your heart and back out through your heart. I'll let you do that for 20 seconds. As you lose those thoughts in your head and keep that focus on your heart. And this breathing just calm you down. And then step into that genuine feeling of care, appreciation, of gratitude for that someone, somewhere, or something in your life. And imagine that you can feel all those feelings flowing through every cell in your body. And if it's a situation or there's a person, see everything, hear everything, feel everything that goes into that and absorb it into your body. Keeping that focus in the area of the heart as you breathe in. Keep on breathing a little slower and a little deeper than you usually do. Okay. That was just very, very quickly. And it'd be great if anyone's done that, whether or not they feel like putting how they felt into the LinkedIn live chat. Oh, lots of comments. Gosh. Wow. Thanks, guys. I haven't been scrolling through. Breathing technique in its first instance will calm your system. And then the focus in the area of the heart where you put your focus, where you focus your energy flows. So, hey, your energy flowing into your heart, that's a good place. Lots of other stuff to talk about there. That focus removes your mind from working on all that other stuff that you were preoccupied with. And then as you step into that genuine emotion, the energetics of that emotion take over. Now, if you can practice that and not just do it when you think you need it, I mean, I liken it to I've been given a violin. I haven't. I had one as a child. Dreadful. I've been given a violin, and someone says, "Can you play us a tune?" And you have a go, and it's dreadful. So you put it away, and then they say, "Oh, a couple of weeks later, can you play us a tune?" Well, if I haven't practiced, it's not going to be any better than the first time I scratched a few notes out of this violin. And it's the same with the breathing technique. If you haven't practiced, it's not going to really, really get you. When you really, really, really get it, uh, the um, the body not only calms down, but the emotional shift is the key, and it gets us into a state known as coherence. The heart and the brain are in a true alignment, from which space you can be in a lovely work, a flow state. Now, at work, that's great. In bed at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning when you can't sleep, it's great because you just fall asleep. The mind has calmed down, the body has calmed down. You're in that relaxed state. If anyone's interested in there's a well-known published article on fall asleep in 2 minutes, and it's given to all sorts of people who have to go off and do armed services for their country because they need to sleep. Drop me a DM and I'll send you a PDF. That's it. Nothing to say there. And if you really, really want to know how stressed you are, I have a scientifically backed, normalized, against normalized data, stress and well-being assessment. 72 questions, going to take you 20 minutes, but you do need to email me so I can email you. It's physical. There's no automation here. I've got to email you a code which you then set on a online in a portal and fill it out, and then we can find out your individual component details of stress and then do something about it. Okay, I think that's about it from me. I thank you so much for Gareth and Megan and Laura and anyone else who's listening, but those three in particular for commenting. Love the comments. I'll go through them shortly. And I look forward to speaking to you next week, same time next week on this channel, talking about work stress. It's another element of the stress and wellbeing assessment, and we'll look at how work stress is affecting you. But between now and then, just practice that breathing. There is more to it, of course. There's a training course, there's coaching. But if you only do that, you will be giving yourself huge benefit in the stress. What am I trying to say? The balance that you have in your body over stress and not stress, and managing it and not managing. Anyway, I'm rambling. I will see you, I hope, next week. Take care.